Hello, greetings. So it's time for another Gorean topic. And the topic I want to take up today is basically when the fiction of gore meets reality, not them. There are, well, within the Gorean lifestyle, there's a varying degrees of how much each adherent to the lifestyle follows the book. Some tries to copy the lifestyle and the way of life in the books as closely as possible. Others are more into the philosophy and so on, but both the philosophy presented in the book and the way of life at times clash with reality. What you do that? Now, uh, I'll take one example. Now, I've been debating this particular topic a few times. For example, I was discussing with someone and one said, no, a woman is always weaker than a man because the Gorean book says so. Because there's one particular scene in the book, and I do think I've addressed this scene in a video before. And I don't remember exactly which book it's from, but anyway, you have this huge, big Bertha slave. Really, really big, strong, heavy woman. And she's armed with a knife. And then they have this little squeak of a man. That's just something against her. And he's not a soldier or anything, he's a slave as well. So he has no experience, no such thing. And of course, in 5 seconds flat, he has her disarmed uh, on the floor and bound. And it was just meant to see all men, no matter if they are small, very weak, are always stronger than a woman. The problem is that when this meets reality, it doesn't mesh well. For example, when I were a teenager, they wanted me to be a part of the weightlifting team. Unfortunately, it was so far away, it was so long a drive that to drive there so many times a week would be a problem because there was quite a few hours drive to where they had their headquarters. So I couldn't do that, but anyway, I was lifting weights regularly, and I took 70 kilos, give or take, in deadlift. At that time, I was considerably when I met the man who's now my free companion a few years later. I was considerably stronger than him physically. So yes, statistically, women are considerably weaker than men. It's generally between 10 and 40% difference in physical strength between men and women. However, this then goes towards basically of the same level. So, for example, a top trained athlete man is stronger than a top trained athlete woman, and often it's quite considerably. So, an athlete man is very often then 40% stronger than an athlete woman. However, a woman who is an athlete is generally speaking a lot stronger than an untrained man, and so on and so forth. So here, reality and the gore books do not mesh well. The same with, for example, branding. I was talking with one who said, no, he would brand his slave exactly as in the books, and I was, no, please don't do that. It will just end up hurting someone. Because the branding method used in the books are used on cows. Cows have hide, human beings have not. In the books, what they describe is that I have this branding iron, red hot, and I press it into the skin for several seconds and see it how the iron sinks into the skin. That you can do with cows, you cannot do it with human beings. I mean, with cows, holding it that long is probably not going to lead to a good result. If you brand someone that way, it will lead to a big ugly splotch on their flesh and nothing else. That is unless they end up in intensive care. Now, generally speaking, the problem is the Gore books were never written to be taken literally. There's a lot of people who are followers of the Gorean lifestyle today who think that the Gore books were written as a sort of guide for life. They were. They were written as entertainment. They're fiction. They're a bit of science fiction. Sandals and spaceships. That's what they are. And then there's a lot of people who have taken these books to heart and who live by them. Now, John Norman originally were not too pleased about the lifestyle. He thought that we were completely insane to take his work of fiction and make a lifestyle out of it. Later, he has sort of accepted us and is sort of okay with it, but it was never his intention to create a lifestyle. And as such, there's a lot of things there that doesn't work. Now, for example, one thing that's a very, very big problem is when it comes to the natural order. Now, here's the thing. In the Gore books, all human females, absolutely every little human female there is submissive by nature. So every single little human female there is happier as a slave. That's how it is in the fiction. That's every woman you meet. It's said by the male characters again and again and again and again. However, in real life, it doesn't work quite as well. Basically, if you look statistically at it, more women than men are submissive. And more men than women are dominant. But there are no traits that are universally all women are this, all men are that. And if one is going to follow the one single most important thing within the Gorean philosophy, which is to know yourself and be true to your inner nature, then it is not right for a dominant woman to be submissive just because such lifestyle says so. And while I'm going a little bit off topic here, I think also that it's very wrong to say that if a woman then is dominant, she should not be a Gorean, because that sort of doesn't fit into that little bubble. Because being Gorean is not about fitting life into a little imaginary bubble. It's taking the best parts of that bubble and applying that to real life. If you have an idea that people should be who they are internally, if they are a way that is not usually the norm on Gore, they should still be who they are, and there's nothing wrong with them being Goreans. But I digress. Basically, very often when you discuss these things, you get a Gore temper. That's what I call those that just show up some quote and say, yeah, but you're completely wrong because this quote says so. And basically, the problem is, again, sometimes the lifestyle doesn't fit with real life completely, and I feel that when the philosophy meets real life and proves to be untrue, the philosophy has to be modified. So, for example, I am a strong supporter of the natural order. Now, many people feel that I am dominant by nature because I am extremely outspoken and I can be aggressive. However, I am submissive by nature. And I want the man in my life to be the dominant one. I want the man in my life to be the one that is the head of the family. Because to me, that is natural. However, this isn't true for every woman. Now, let me draw on. They did a poll in. Is it poll? How is it pronounced in English? I think it's poll, isn't it? Poll. They did a poll on engineering students, both boys and girls, and 80% of the female students did not want to become leaders. They wanted to be good at their jobs, but they wanted a job that they could combine with a husband and family, and they did not want the responsibility and stress of leadership. That's 80%. 20% of the women did want to become leaders. With the boys, it was completely the polar opposite. 80% of the boys wanted to become leaders, and 20% wanted just to be good at their job and have a job that they could combine with a wife and children. Now, here's my point in this. Basically, what I feel is very wrong is what then Norway did. They decided, how can we make more women want to be leaders? It's so fucking important that we have 50-50 in every single branch of everything. And I think that is bullshit. It goes against the natural order of things. It goes against nature. What they should say is, okay, then I guess 20% of the women want to be leaders. So be it, and the rest doesn't. I, however, think it's equally bullshit to say that it's wrong of those 20% of women, or those 20% of men who is outside of the norm to want what they want. And I think here is where the natural order, the way the Gorean book sees them, doesn't mesh with reality. The natural order, the way the Gorean book says it, is every single woman is submissive and should be submissive. And many lifestyle Goreans then take that to, no, you cannot have a dominant woman within the lifestyle whatsoever. But here I feel the lifestyle, this philosophy, meets real life and falls short. And then real life is what has to win out. How I view natural order is that then we should say, okay, 80% of women don't want to be leaders. That's fine. But be completely accepting of those 20% that want to. The same with men. 80% of boys want to be leaders. Amazing. But we should also accept the 20% that do not. Because there's a lot of individual differences between the genders. And we see this with animals as well. In most mammals, the males are dominant and the females are submissive. However, sometimes it doesn't work out that way and you have a dominant female within a race that is normally male dominant or a submissive male. And that's how nature works sometimes. That is also part of the natural order. Because within nature there are no absolutes. So again here, real life meets the philosophy. It falls short, then real life has to win through. Because if you try to say that, but this philosophy is what I'm gonna live by, no matter what, every single word in this book is what I'm gonna live by, then you're not following nature. You're following a fiction book. And one of the most important tenets of the Gorean lifestyle is actually abiding by nature. And here's also this by, for example, technology. Within the Gore books, technology is sort of iffy because technology is viewed as unnatural. However, within the books, this is a view that the priest kings has placed in humans, so that the humans of Gore will never rise up against them. They will never have the abilities about like Zeus telling Prometheus, no, you may not teach humans fire, because then they will eventually develop further and threaten us here we sit on Olympus. That's the priest king's idea here. They say technology bad, the only technology you will be allowed to have is what we give you. However, here's what is natural for human beings to develop and to develop technology. Because if you look at a human being, we're not very impressive beings. We don't have fur to keep us warm. We don't have claws. We don't have particularly strong teeth. We don't run particularly fast. We don't smell particularly well. We don't have particularly sharp eyes. In fact, there are only two things that has made human beings the dominant species on the planet: a big brain and opposable tongues. We have the capacity to develop technology and the motor skills and hands to do so. That is our power, or at least one of them, as human beings. And basically not developing further is against nature. Here the philosophy as presented in the books meshes with actual reality. And again then, I feel that the philosophy has to step back and allow reality to pass. I feel that being a Gorean is not about saying la 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 reality, no such thing. It's about taking what you find in the Gore book and applying it to reality where possible. Because I feel that the philosophy presented in the Gore books is very important for us to be the raw, natural human animals that we are. But at the same time, we have to remember that the books are fiction. They were written to be just works of science fiction and nothing more, and we have to take it as such, as a good way to guide our life. They shouldn't be presented as a Bible, an absolute that we have to follow in every single way. The books should be advisors, not dictators in our lives. And where the book's content and philosophy meshes with proven reality, we have to go with proven reality, though still guided by the wisdom found in the books. I hope you have enjoyed this video. Have a great day, and blessed be.